Hey guys, I'm back down at the farm. My plan was to film a shooting tutorial with my new FX Bobcat 22. The place I wanted to film was over by the grain bins and the corn dryer. But as you can see behind me, it's harvest time for the corn. And that means that this time of the year, the corn dryer... So unfortunately, I cannot film over there today because you just can't hear a darn thing I'm saying. So we'll stay over here where it's a little more quiet. We'll go up to the house sparrows, and it's my understanding that the gray squirrels now, population has gotten out of hand, and they're starting to get over into the grain bins, which is not making the farmers very happy. Alright then, let's go see if we can't knock them back a couple steps today. Alright, I got a pretty good spot picked out here. You're gonna recognize one of my sites. It was the vine conglomeration. It was the centerpiece for my sparrow eradication of a bird feeder video. I made that like 2 years ago. Got a shooting lane there. I got a shooting lane out to about 50 yards in a bush over there. Another house sparrow hotspot. And then back behind me, about 40 yards away, there's actually a tree that I know these squirrels are living in. So if they make the error of popping their head out and get curious, got some lead for them as well. Alright, I already see some landings, so let's get right to it.
And I'm sorry for that low-level buzz that you're hearing permeate this entire video. That's the sound of the distant corn dryer. So there's a little bit of wind out there this day, and on this guy, this sparrow actually held for the wind. And the truth is it wasn't needed. The shot still killed the bird instantly, but it could have been placed better. And from here on out, I just stopped open for wind. Whatever little wind was out there, it simply wasn't enough to push my pellet, especially because it wasn't coming at a 90-degree angle. It was kind of off my back shoulder a little bit. So from here on out for little birdies, I pretty much just held crosshairs on center mass. These little tiny house sparrows, you don't need to be worrying about taking headshots. The concussion alone from a 30-foot-pound 22 blast is gonna kill them outright. And they caught on to the fact pretty quickly that their friends were exploding every time they landed in one of these two bushes I was aiming on. So they wound up choosing other perch sites. I could have pursued them, but I did not want to alert all the squirrels that were still in their nests at this time to my presence. The squirrels were about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes away from emerging to forage, so I decided to just simply wait them out. I could have done this inside a warm house, I suppose, but I still enjoy cloud watching as much as I did when I was 8. I'm alerted to some rustling off to my left. It's in that tree where I said the squirrels were living. I look over there, this guy is leaning down, gathering dried leaves, presumably to fluff up his nest with. Probably the easiest shot I've ever had on a squirrel in my entire life. And he is instantly killed. Or I should say she. This was my only female of the day, and this was a big mature one at that.
I chased one up into this white pine right here. We played race around for a while. He finally settled on a spot up there, but there's some branches in front of his head. I think because he can't see me, he thinks I can't see him. And the truth is I can't get a good headshot at him. But I could put one in his heart and lungs.
Now, normally I would prefer a .25 caliber for squirrels. However, a .22 and a 1.7 work equally well if you can put that pellet directly on their brain or heart. So in short, what you need is a very accurate .22 or 1.7. And that's why I did not hesitate to use this gun for that purpose. This thing is hitting aspirin 10 for 10 at 50 yards. I'm not joking. It was great out of the box, but I got it shooting even better than that now. And after hitting this squirrel, I saw 3 squirrels very purposefully moving through the treetops, heading right toward the grain bins. But I was able to head them off at a tree where I knew they'd be stopping. It's a big walnut tree, and it's the last tree before you get to the grain bins. Kind of an observational post for them. They look for aerial predators here before zipping over to this crabapple tree, and then onto the barn roof, and then over to the grain bins. And you can see on this shot, I actually did hit the branch right in front of him, but it bust straight through. 9 times out of 10, the shot is deflected, in fact. But every so often you get one of these hits square on, 90 degrees, and that's like hitting a line drive. This happened a while back, an older video of mine, when I shot through a branch and hit a crow. I think I called that crow ricochet investigation, something like that. All 4 of these shots you're going to see occurred in less than 1 minute. I kind of forgotten how much I liked having a gun with a magazine. You get used to single loading it, and you kind of tell yourself, single loading is just as good as a magazine. It's not. It's not. Magazines are great. But in this shot, little branch is in the way, and this time the pellet does not hit it square. The squirrel didn't move one bit. In fact, he put his head down into a position where I could take a fast follow-up shot. And now besides the quick follow-up shots, I was also aided by two other things. The first is the shrouded barrel, but also the fact that that corn dryer was making so much darn noise, they didn't hear anything. I plugged one, then I plugged another, then I plugged another. And all three of these were males, and well-fed ones at that. These are big boys. I waited for another half an hour at this location, but no other squirrels came through, so I had good reason to think that I had dispatched the primary troublemakers that were giving the farmers grief over at the grain bins.
Alright then, house sparrows go to the kitties, and these guys destined for my crock pot. Take care guys, see you in the next video.